G'day guys, it's Wolfie here and welcome back to the pack. So today I'm just going to quickly give you a run through of my race in the round 3 of the Manufacturers Cup exhibition series, which we've just done here in Oceania. We managed to qualify in only P12. So yeah, not great pace for quali, but I didn't get nearly enough practice done, and I was just basically going to try and wing it. And I was hoping that the McLaren would still be pretty good since the physics changes and BOP changes. Obviously the McLaren's always been pretty good as far as tyre wear is concerned, and having seen Amiga do his first race on his stream, I knew that tyre wear was really going to play into this race. So we'd start out on the softs and we're just going to go for a no stop. And the plan was basically just try and stay with the pack and not make any rash moves or big dives, just kind of try and conserve our tyres and wait for our opportunities. And as you can see here, we've got this 911 RSR behind us, and he's absolutely motoring up the back straight here. So I think, that's probably had a huge boost, that car. But he comes in and then nails this guy. And yeah, it kind of looked a bit sus to me, to be honest. He says sorry straight away, but it was bizarre. So look at how quick this guy takes off, right? He jumps in behind me, I know he's there, and so I just stick to the outside, and as soon as I saw this, I just backed out, and then he nails this bloke in the NSX. So I don't know exactly what that was all about. It looked a little bit suspicious. We picked up like 3 positions there, because 2 other guys went off as well. And but yeah, I was sort of hyper aware that he was now behind me, because I kind of recognised the name. Obviously he doesn't have a nickname there, but the PSN name, so there was a guy in one of Amiga's streams a while ago that was a bit dirty. So yeah, I just backed out here and just sort of like didn't want to get run off or anything like that. So I let him go around the outside, up the inside, and just stayed out of the way. And I'm kind of glad that I did, because as you'll see here, like he's about to serve a penalty. Comes in on the inside of Aqua here and just sort of runs him a little bit wide here, almost runs him off, but thankfully I think Aqua was ready for it, and then yeah, he serves his 5-second penalty, much deserved 5-second penalty, I might add. But anyway, look, enough of that. Back into the race. All the action was in the first couple of laps, so that's pretty much what I'm going to run through with you. I could see that Aqua was struggling a little bit with grip. It's only lap 1. But yeah, he was having trouble sort of staying towards the insides of these corners, so I figured that's where my opportunity was going to be. A little bit of lost traction there, but it wasn't too bad. I think everyone's still sort of getting used to it. But as you can see here, he goes a bit wide. I don't know whether it was trying to get a good exit and a good run onto the straight, but yeah. We've got Astria behind us. He gives me a bit of a push, so big thanks to Astria. I've raced around him quite a bit recently, and he's a very courteous, very very nice person to race with, so thank you to him. And as you can see there, Aqua behind us has just lost control, so that's lucky for Astria. He gets to follow us up, and we move into P7 and P8 respectively. And now the keen-eyed amongst you might realise we just lost another one, and that was the race leader. As you can see here, going a little bit wide on the way in, trying to create too wide a line, puts his left wheels onto the grass and loses it from P1, and then absolutely struggles to even get back on, so made a real meal of that as we go sailing past. And there's Aqua as we head back on board with myself, and we've got Astria just behind me. So we're going to scoot forward a bit here to lap 4. I saw these guys fighting a bit, and as one guy makes a move on the other, I'm forced to hit the anchors suddenly to avoid hitting him. And that opened up the door for Astria, but yeah, as I was saying, I think he was happy to just sort of sit where he was, and we could kind of work together and perhaps move up another position or 2 if we were lucky. So that was the plan in my mind, and that's what I was going to stick to. But I figured I had to stick on this guy in front. he was another one that looked like he was struggling a little bit with grip. So once again, I just try to hug the inside here, and as he understeers a little bit into this corner, I get a better run and move up the outside, which would then become the inside for this next left-hander. And as you can see, he just backs out here. So thank you to him once again. People just being respectful of others. It was pretty good. This whole race was actually pretty good, bar that first lap, and that little bit of messiness. I won't say dirty driving because I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, it did look a little bit suspicious, to be honest. And so yeah, moving up into P6, and I was pretty happy from here. This is a top split race, or maybe second split or something. It was only my first race since the update changes, and I was still pretty unfamiliar to all the physics and stuff, especially in Group 3. So I was happy with this. I was happy to just sit where I was, and just pick up P6 if that's as much as I was going to get. But yeah, look, as we move into lap 8, I'm just going to take this opportunity to have a quick word about the physics changes, or about the update itself, update 1.49. So yeah, look, I've heard a lot of different talk from people who praise the changes and people who aren't so happy with them, and I can understand both sides of the coin. To me, the physics changes I think are a positive, in that they kind of make the racing and the driving it feels a little bit more real to life, in my opinion anyway. Especially around like low speed corners and stuff. Before the update, you used to be able to really throw these cars around into corners and do things with them that I just don't particularly think you'd be able to do in real life. That's just my opinion. That may not be the case at all, but that's the way it feels to me. And I kind of feel like perhaps they've taken a bit of an approach to make it a little bit more simulation-ish, if that's even a word, but if you know what I mean, yeah. So a little bit more like a proper simulator, and less less easy to throw around, fast and hard sort of physics. And if that's the case, that's got to be a good thing, I think, for Gran Turismo. Yeah, and look, we're all in the same basket. We're all learning this all together. It's, in a way, it's kind of like learning a new game, or learning to drive again. Yeah, it's going to take a while, and I'm sure it's going to take a while for PD as well. I'm sure there's going to be issues and stuff that they're going to want to iron out progressively. So there'll be patches and, maybe other updates to change, issues or anything like that. As we've seen, there was some glitch issues, and people making some pretty interesting meme videos. But yeah, that was all that was different. And that's all just a bit of fun. As far as the multiplayer racing is concerned and the physics applied in multiplayer racing, I think it's pretty good. It's a little bit harder to handle, a little bit, the car's a little bit more of a handful, but I think that makes sense considering how easy it was to drive these cars prior to this update. So, in my opinion, it's a good thing. The BOP changes, on the other hand, look, I haven't had a chance to look through them all. I know that, for someone like, if you might be familiar with Amiga, and if you watch my channel, you watch my videos, I'm pretty sure you'd be, familiar with Amiga, an Australian sim racer and streamer. And look, he chose Mitsubishi on the power of the Lancer and how it was performing. Did round 1 and round 2, and then was pretty happy with the car and with his manufacturer, and then gets to this round after the BOP and physics changes, and his car is like ridiculously slow comparatively. Like, I'm talking a second and a half slower. So yeah, I mean, if you're in that basket, you're gonna feel a bit ripped off, aren't you? So I think it would probably have been a better idea to have waited and held off doing the BOP changes until one after GTWS. I know this is like an exhibition series, but it's still a GTWS race. It's still a manufacturer's cup race. And it's round 3. So maybe they should have waited until the end of round 4, after round 4, and then done the BOP changes. And also, I don't think it was a good idea to lump it in with physics changes at the same time. It's sort of hard to keep track of what's changed, and it's hard to know what's the physics changes and what's the BOP changes. And if you've got a car that you're used to, how do you know what's what? So yeah, look, that's but that's PD's prerogative, I guess, and PD do what they want. We all know that. So yeah, but my advice to them would be maybe don't do them both at once next time. So as you can see anyway, we're in the final lap here, and yeah, I could see that old mate ahead of me was fixing to make a move, so I was going to just try and hang around the fringes and wait for that move, or wait for an opportunity or a mistake or someone getting run off, or whatever. And I figured I might be a chance here because I thought I might have quite a bit more tyre left than these guys. So once again, I'm just hugging the insides and trying to wait for one of them to understeer off, and hopefully my last chance was this one here, this final corner coming up, and I thought I might get a run on them, but yeah, look, it wasn't to be. Both the Supra and the AMG looked really good here. The AMG especially was actually quite surprising, because I had a look at his tyres afterwards and they weren't actually as bad as I thought they would have been. And yeah, the AMG and the Supra both have better acceleration than the McLaren. So yeah, but look, I was happy with that. P6, I think, from a P12 start. That's I wasn't going to turn up my nose at that. So yeah, and I was happy to get through my first GTWS race since the update changes. And I think, to be honest, that the physics are a positive thing. The BOP, well, hey, we'll have to look through it and reevaluate what we think are the metas and what cars have what strengths and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, if you are in EMEA or in the Americas and you're preparing to race, yeah, hopefully that gives you a bit of a look at what to expect. And yeah, good luck. And my advice would be just sit back and wait for your opportunities. Just try and be careful. Everyone's getting used to new physics. People are going to go off. People are going to spin. People are going to understeer. And I think if you're just careful, you can probably pick up a place or two on the back of that. So yeah, hope you guys like that. And be sure to like and subscribe. And until next time, take care, guys. Ciao.